I guess it's pretty much safe to assume that I'm pretty much done with Dodge as a car company. I don't foresee myself buying any more of their products. I will test drive the Dodge Charger EV when it comes to market, but I just don't see myself dealing with any more of their products. And I absolutely love my car, my Cadillac. I absolutely love it. But I have to say, the only other car that I would have considered buying besides the Cadillac is this right here. This is the Mercedes S-Class. Now, I'm not sure if this one's a 500 or a 580, but this is the only other thing I would have considered. This is a 580. Yeah, so this one's pretty much fully loaded. Yeah. Now, I don't need all that rear seat package stuff. Like, this one has all of it. This one has the full rear seat and everything. This is the only other thing I would consider buying, but I really believe the Mercedes S-Class, they need to hurry up, refresh this car, and they need to give it the full, what is it called? The super screen or the hyper screen. The hyper screen, I believe, is what they call it in the EQE, the EQS. But they need to do that, and they need to do that as soon as possible. Now, the E-Class has it. The E-Class gets the super screen, but the S-Class doesn't have it yet. When the S-Class gets that super screen, I think that's definitely what I'm going to buy next. Because this, as you see this silver that they got, the silver, regular wheels, no AMG package. I don't want no pretentious nonsense. That's exactly how I would get this car spec'd. And I was looking at getting one of these when it was taking a long time to get my Cadillac. But the thing about it is all the S500s were gone. So it's like now it's only 580s, and these things come with a V8 engine. I didn't want another V8. I either wanted an EV or I wanted something that was going to be way better on gas. So as you can see, I'm parked here. We got the charge points right here. So I have the Charge Point app. But see, the thing about Charge Point, these are, if you look at them, oh, they don't allow you to take it out. These are level 2 chargers. These don't have DC fast charging, so these are like really slow. So when you use a charge point, because it doesn't have that CCS combo, these will only charge at a slower rate. They charge like less than 50 kilowatts. And the thing about it is the DC fast chargers, like the one that I use with EVgo, that's like 150 watts. And now there's a new one coming, which I can't wait to make a test video of, and that's 350 watts out there at Westbury. So look forward to seeing that. So here we go with the E-Class again. I had to take another look at the E-Class.
Right out of the chute has got about $7,000 worth of options nobody does. So
anyway, I went in, and this car right here belongs to the sales manager. And I went in and I was asking about whether or not like I could get a spec'd silver with a macchiato interior, because as you can see, this car is black. I don't want black interiors no more. I like white. So they were like, oh yeah, well, if you want to get it, you're gonna have to build it. So I was like, oh yeah, well, you know, we'll see what we could do about that. They said that if you want to lease a 580, they said that they dropped the interest rate on a 580 down to a 3.9%. But the S500 doesn't get the drop in the lease rate. And I'm like, that's just stupid. The S500 should be a volume seller. Like, the thing about it is the S500 has a twin turbo 6. This car really doesn't need more than 400 horsepower to drive around. And I know because I used to drive the 2007, and that was W221 with a V8. And that one had less than 400 horsepower. It only had like 382. That was a very good driving car, and you didn't have to race it. The engine was quiet. It was silent. It was really comfortable. I loved it. But it's the S500 I'm looking for. And the thing about it is the people who have S500s, they decided to just keep them, and they refinanced them. So when they bought those things in like 2020 and 2019, they just refinanced and kept them. So now it's like S500s, and the S500s are... they still want $120,000. It's like, I'm not paying that kind of money. Like, I'll lease it and get a lower interest rate, but there's no way in hell I would pay that kind of money for a twin turbo V6. That doesn't make any sense. I'd rather just have an electric car. I'd rather the thing just be an EV. But this is the sales manager's car. And, this one's a black interior and everything. It's a really nice ass car. But, again, I really would like them to get the hyperscreen in these things. So only time will tell if they do, So, as you know, I already made a video talking about the fall of Stellantis and the death of Dodge. And the thing about it is, this is one of the dealerships that I bought a car from a while back. And I wanted to take a look and see how they're doing. Just see how they're doing. Because as you know, the insurance companies are refusing to insure most of these cars right now. And then on top of that, the banks are refusing to finance these cars. Look at this. These Hellcats just sitting. They just sitting. Oh my God. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what they got. Oh my God. These things just sitting. Okay, we got a Compass here. They just sitting. Oh my God. They just sit. Nobody want to finance it. Oh, this one doesn't have a RAM bar. Let's see what they want. Oh, this is already sold. Sold to be delivered. Oh, please do not touch. Now let's see what do they want for this. This is $124 special adjustment market price. $30,000. Oh my God. And somebody still bought it. I have to say though, out of all the trucks you could possibly get, this is the one. I'm not a truck guy. Yeah, let's see what else they got. They got some Hellcats back there. Let's see what they got. Oh, this is the octane red Hellcat Durango. Uh-oh, they got Michael Jackson playing. That's going to be a problem. You got Michael Jackson playing. I'm going to have to use AI to scrub the video because Michael Jackson's playing. Let's see, this one's 109. It's got the demonic red interior and no TVs. My thinking is, and I've said this before, if you're going to sell these things fully equipped, that gives you kind of a right to mark up the price. But these things don't have the televisions in them. It's like you should have the TVs in these things. It looks so old. It doesn't have the TVs. So what we got over here? Let's see what Michael Jackson's gonna mess me up this morning. Michael Jackson, you're gonna mess up my video. Look at this. This is a Challenger Hellcat, Charger Hellcat. So they got this one right here, and this one. What is this? Okay, this one is not a. I don't think this one. Yeah, this one's not a special. It's just. I think this is a red eye. No, it's not. It's not a red eye. So what do they want for this? $92,000. Oh my God. So it's a B5 blue. Michael Jackson's gonna get me hemmed up over here. Because the problem is the AI thing can hear the music playing before it. This is interesting. They got the, oh wait, how much is that one over there? Let's see what this one is. 83. And then this one is a chop top. They had to mail these cars out, and then they chop them, and then they put the convertible package in them and everything. But here's my thing: if you're gonna do that, you should have just made it a Hellcat. That would have almost justified the market adjustment. Oh, in fact, it has a market adjustment. What is this? Michael Jackson, you're gonna get me hemmed up. This is a $30,000 market adjustment. They want $96,875 for this. That's a little bit excessive, I think. A little excessive. So I'm gonna drop this story before you hear all the rest of these YouTubers who are complaining every single day about Stellantis and the death of Dodge, the impending inevitable death of Dodge, and the impending inevitable death of Chrysler. I'm going to drop this story real quick, and I'm going to do it before any of them get to it. So I guess I'll be the first person to crack open that story. Because the reality is, And you know I've said this 100 times. I knew that this day was coming a long time ago when they refused to give us a Chrysler 300 SRT Hellcat, when they screwed up the Jeep Trackhawk and they made it boring, and they launched it at the ass end of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, lifespan, and then they didn't make it an exciting product. They didn't do enough with it. I saw this coming. I knew when they dropped SRT badges off of these cars, I saw this coming. So I'm gonna make this very, very quick. I'm not gonna harp on this too long. The one thing I will say, Stellantis is doing everything it can to kill Dodge off. And one of the things that you got to understand, Stellantis is a Dutch company. They are European. They don't care about American cars. More importantly, they don't care about the ego of the American car buyer. Dodge only makes left-hand drive products. This company is European. They want to be able to make products that they can sell all over the world, Australia, countries with right-hand drive. They want to be able to sell their products all over the world. Dodge doesn't fit into their plans for profit. Factor in the fact that the V8 engine has basically been killed off. Basically what you're looking at is a company that's only focused on, global profit. And they want global platforms that they could sell just about everywhere. So they could give a damn about American car buyer egos. They don't care. What they'll ultimately do is they'll probably give Dodge about 2 or 3 years. They'll try to sell those EVs. They'll try to push all this rebadged Alfa Romeo garbage on us. And when we don't buy it, they will basically cut Dodge loose. And the problem with Dodge ultimately is that without the V8, they're basically irrelevant. Because without those V8 engines, without those Hemi V8s, and without that Viper V10, they're basically irrelevant. They're dead. They're dead in the water. Because that's just it. I mean, the problem is there's not enough money anywhere else to revive a product that is, for the most part, obsolete. And I'll say this real quick. These cars are obsolete. I find it so funny that these people are getting on YouTube all day long talking about how the Demon 170 is malfunctioning. First of all, the Demon 170 isn't even a real Demon. If you look at the sticker, it literally says it's a Dodge Challenger SRT Red Eye Hellcat, right? And if you look where it says options, it says that there's a Demon 170 package that has been applied, and then they tell you how much all that stuff costs and everything. But the reality is that the first Demon that was launched was a real Demon. The Demon 170 is some shit that they threw together for this last call edition, and then they pushed it out there because they were trying to jack up the prices as much as they could. And part of that is because these dealers' floor plans, they lost so much money during the quarantine that they were trying to make back that money as best as they could. Their floor plans, in many cases, they can't even afford their floor plans, and they're getting denied loans by the banks. The problem that they're having right now is it's very difficult to sell these cars, and they refuse to budge on the prices. So they're selling Hellcats at $100,000. They're selling, Trackhawks, if they have any left over. They're selling them way above $100,000. Dodge Durango Hellcats, they're selling way above $100,000. Ram TRXs, they're selling over $44,000 markup. So you're talking about $144,000 to $150,000 if you can find it that cheap. And the reality is they refuse to budge. And it occurred to me, I'm like, who would be dumb enough to go into one of these dealerships and say that they're going to pay $100,000 for a Hellcat at 11% markup? When I think back to when I bought my Hellcat, I paid $76,000 at a 3%. These people are literally going in there, buying these things at 11%, and then defaulting on the payment. So then they wonder why the banks refuse to finance these things now, and then the insurance companies refuse to cover them. It's hilarious. And I'm looking at this, just shaking my head. I'm like, yeah, well, that's the death of Dodge. Now, you saw me. I said a long time ago, they won't give me a Chrysler 300 Hellcat. I'm done. What did I say I was going to do? I said I'm going to go take my money to Mercedes or I'm going to take my money to Cadillac. I said I'm going to take my money there and I'm going to buy an EV. I went and bought Cadillac brand new EV. Brand spanking new. And the only reason I didn't go with the Mercedes was because the insurance company was like, oh, yeah, well, you're going to have to pay like $700 a month. I'm like, I'm not paying you $700 a month for like one car. I don't give a shit what the insurance rates are, and I don't care what New York State says. I'm not doing it. So I went to Cadillac, and I think because, I have about 3 years. I think the next thing I might buy is if they refresh the S-Class, I might get that next. I don't know if anything else will come out between now and then, but we'll see. So, okay, that's enough talk and ranting. The story is Stellantis hiring $50,000 engineers in Brazil and India instead of $150,000 staff workers here in America. You've been replaced, guys. This is not replacement theory. This is replacement fact. What have I said? I've said this over and over. Automakers already build cars where it's cheap. Now they're engineering them there to cut costs and compete with China. Stellantis is hiring engineers from Brazil and India for around $53,000 to cut costs. A Bloomberg report has said the equivalent engineer working in U.S. or Europe would cost about $150,000 to $200,000. Strategy is focused on reducing spend. Strategy is focused on reducing spend. Am I missing something here? Reducing spend to drive vehicle prices down and better compete with Chinese automakers. I think you should have said strategy is focused on reducing expenditures. Jesus Christ, this is where journalism is in 2024. I got to fucking proofread. Oh, God. Anyway, many automakers already build their cars in other countries and take advantage of cheaper labor costs. But now, firms like Stellantis are also looking overseas for the engineers needed to develop those cars. Where's the S? Oh, my God, these people. Okay, and they're hiring them for a fraction of what they'd pay an American or European to do the same job. Was there no editor for any of this? Anyway, a new report claims that Stellantis is now recruiting most of its engineers from places like Brazil, India, and Morocco to drive down development costs. An engineer from one of those countries might only cost $53,000 per year, or potentially even less, compared with the $150,000 to $200,000 with benefits. Cost of hiring the equivalent worker in the U.S. or Europe, Bloomberg says. Compared with because it almost feels like something's missing here. With benefits, okay, so wait, compared with the $150,000 to $200,000, I think you should have had an open parenthesis with benefits, close parenthesis. Yeah, I think that might have helped because this looks like there's something wrong here. But anyway, Stellantis and other Western automakers are battling to cut costs to better compete with growing threats. So where's the S? What are y'all doing? Posed by Chinese brands, which are starting to make their presence felt around the world. Chinese firms are currently the only ones capable of building an EV for the same price as a combustion car, and their Western counterparts are banking on next-generation electric platforms and batteries helping to close the gap. Okay, I'll let that go. But new, cheaper tech is only part of the solution to wider cost-related problems in the Western car market, including a slowdown in demand for electric cars. Headcount cuts like the 400-strong reduction in its U.S. workforce Stellantis made in March and changing the way new employees are sourced will also play key roles. The company plans to hire 500 more staff in Brazil to add to the roster of 4,000 it already has here. The report says, there is always more potential when it comes to cost discipline. Stellantis CFO Natalie Knight told Bloomberg, we are going to continue to optimize our labor costs. This is something that has been important both on the white collar and to a lesser extent on the blue collar side. But while Stellantis seems to be balking at paying American and European engineers the going rate for their services, it seems to have no intention of outsourcing CEO duties to India, Brazil, or Morocco to slash its salary bill. Boss Carlos Tavares's 2023 pay package was a mammoth $40 million, up 56% on his remuneration for 2022. Okay, that's it. So that's the story, basically. In a nutshell, it feels to me, real quickly, because I'm not going to make this long, it feels to me as if they're taking revenge for all of that time that the U.S. automakers were on strike. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like they're like, oh, okay, you think you guys are cute. What we're going to do is we're going to cut the goddamn factory floor from right under you, and we're going to give you jobs to people in Morocco, India, and Mexico, or any other place that we can, and we're going to pay these people peanuts to engineer these cars, and you're just going to be on an American breadline waiting for a welfare check so that you can, afford to, have a tent in California, or you can afford to have a tent like in New York, and you can like be at some college campus rioting and protesting, about not getting a fair wage or something. That's what it feels to me like, because that's how they've always dealt with unions, and that's how they've always done it. Because the bottom line is, if you take away the factory, there ain't no place to protest at, and they'll just go someplace else. They'll find a bunch of poor people who have relatively high IQs, and they'll put those people to work as slaves. And it's kind of what they're doing in China. Because one of the things that I realized when I was living in China, it's like, you know what? They don't need a lot of machines. They could just as easily get people to do it. And a lot of those people are well-trained and ready to work, and they need the money. And they're willing to work for peanuts, and that's what it comes down to. This is also one of the things that worries me about AI. And I'll just say it real quick. It's like, for all these people keep talking about going into like cybersecurity and all of these tech jobs, a lot of these jobs can very quickly be replaced by artificial intelligence as it improves. Now, I understand that, our AI can't take all the jobs, but there's a lot of jobs that can be taken, and those jobs are no longer safe. I just really, really believe that we're crossing a tipping point that, you've always heard about it, like, oh yeah, the corporations want more profit, so they're willing to go outside of America and they're outsourcing the work because there's more profit, blah, blah, blah. And you can get 10 Chinese to do the job that it would, pay one person, to do at Microsoft or Google and everything. You get 10 Chinese people. Why pay one person $100,000 when you can give 10 of them $10,000? It is what it is. I'm just glad that I'm going to be retired and out of the workforce when the shit hits the fan. Like, you're going to find me on a beach in the Philippines or Thailand, and I'm going to have some young wife serving me buko juice and giving me oil rub downs with coconut oil. And I'm just going to be out of this. I have no aspirations beyond that for my retirement, and that's just what it's going to be. So this is the story. Chances are you're going to hear people talking about this later on, because any Stellantis news seems to be like, there's like a round that it makes on YouTube where you get like a bunch of YouTubers going over this stuff. So I figured I'd hit this one first, and I'd talk about this one first. So that's the story right there.